Hello, everyone. My name is Bryan McDowell with the Fusion Middleware Support Team for Identity and Access Management. Thank you for joining this Oracle Identity and Access Management Insight session, where I will be providing an overview and demo of Oracle Enterprise Single Sign-On Password Reset product. In today's session, I will provide a brief introduction to the ESSO Password Reset product by covering some benefits of using it, as well as the components and system requirements necessary to implement it. The ESSO Password Reset service consists of a server component and a client component, both of which are deployed on the Windows Server and Windows Client operating systems. I will briefly cover how the PR service is implemented with these components and then perform a demonstration of how to complete a password reset. This session will not address how to install or configure the ESSO Password Reset product. Let's begin with a short overview of the ESSO Password Reset product. ESSO Password Reset, also known as ESSO PR, is included with Oracle Enterprise Single Sign-On Suite Plus product suite. It offers a fully integrated and secure self-service solution that allows end users to reset their own Windows password or unlock their account after too many failed attempts. The secure, flexible self-service interface significantly improves the user experience by enabling strong password management for Microsoft Windows accounts, which greatly reduces the number of calls to the help desk. Users can perform password resets directly from the Windows logon screen using the credential provider link or from a web browser if they are already logged on but want to proactively change their Windows password. Before users can begin resetting their Windows passwords, their account must be enrolled as an active user with the Password Reset service. Enrollment in Password Reset consists of answering a series of questions that an administrator has configured with point values for correct and incorrect answers during the initial setup. The questions make up what is known as the enrollment interview or quiz, in which the users provide their initial responses. Password Reset stores the answers to the enrollment interview in encrypted form in the repository for later use when completing the Password Reset quiz that verifies the user. During the Password Reset quiz, the users are presented the same questions that they answered during the enrollment interview. The answers must match the exact responses provided during the enrollment interview to successfully complete the quiz. The challenge questions are administrator configurable during the initial setup of Password Reset and can be configured with different point values, also known as weighted, to ensure that the users answer enough questions correctly to successfully complete their reset quiz. The questions can be created and configured in Password Reset tab of the ESSO Administrative Console or the Legacy Web Console interface in a browser. Let's review the system requirements for the Password Reset service. Basic system requirements include a Microsoft Windows Server 2012 R2 server or higher, with Microsoft Internet Information Server IIS 7 or higher installed, Microsoft .NET Framework 3.0 or higher. On the Windows desktop client, we have Windows 10 and connected to a user repository such as LDAP, which can be Active Directory, Oracle Internet Directory, Oracle Unified Directory, or etc. We can also support databases, Oracle or Microsoft SQL, and any other of the supported user repositories documented in our support documentation. Let's break down the components of the Password Reset service. It consists of a server-side component called Password Reset Server and a client-side component called Password Reset Client. The first component of the Password Reset service is the Password Reset Server. It's installed on a Microsoft Windows Server, can be 2012 R2 or higher, along with the prerequisite software features, which include Microsoft Internet Information Server, also known as IIS, which provides the web service URLs accessing the password reset web server. There's Microsoft.NET Framework, which is the underlying engine for the password reset service running on the Windows server. Password reset service users accounts from the connected repository to support web services in IIS and password resets on behalf of the user. Administrators can configure password reset server settings and questions from either the password reset tab in the ESSO administrative console or with the legacy web-based admin console in a web browser. They can also use the admin console interfaces to view and manage user enrollment and account statuses, such as lockouts. Password reset tab in the ESSO administrative console requires a connection to the admin web service URL in the password reset server. It can be used to configure the password reset server and manage user enrollments and account status. The configuration can also be performed in the legacy web admin console accessed via a web browser on the server or from a desktop client. The second component is the password reset client, which is installed on the Windows 10 desktop, either as a subcomponent of the ESSO Logon Manager or independently without the Logon Manager client. Users can enroll voluntarily using a URL in a web browser, or administrators can configure password reset to automatically or force enrollment of the users during the initial logon to the Windows desktop. Once enrolled, users can then reset their own passwords or unlock their Windows accounts from their own desktop without calling the help desk for support. During the initial installation of the password reset client, the web service URLs for the password reset server can be configured manually or automated via a command line script if installing the client sitely. An example of the web service URLs for the password reset server are configured in the Windows System Registry on the client. There are two methods for enrolling the users in the password reset service. There's self-enrollment, which users can manually initiate their enrollment interview by accessing the password reset enrollment URL in a web browser. There's automatic, also force enrollment, configured by administrators to initiate the enrollment interview during the Windows logon. To configure automatic or force enrollment, the following registry keys can be added to the password reset client configuration in the Windows System Registry on the Windows client. Users are then prompted to complete the enrollment interview after logging onto the Windows desktop. Users can opt out of the enrollment interview and still log onto the desktop. However, they will be prompted each time they log on until the enrollment interview is completed successfully. Administrators can configure a number of deferments, which represent the number of times the user can opt out of the enrollment interview. After the X number of deferments is reached by the user, they can no longer log into the desktop until the enrollment interview is completed successfully. Password preset provides two ways for the users to reset their Windows password. If the password is forgotten or expired, the user can click on the Forgot Your Password link to initiate the password reset quiz from the Windows logon screen. The user is then redirected to a secure, self-contained browser window in which they can complete the password reset quiz and change their password. Alternatively, if the user is already logged onto the desktop but wants to change their password manually, they can do so by initiating the password reset quiz from the password reset URL in a web browser. The following demonstration will show the two ways that a user can be enrolled in the password reset service, and the two ways the users can initiate a password reset from their Windows desktop. The first method of enrollment, manual self-enrollment from the web browser, allows users to self-enroll on their desktop by connecting to the password reset enrollment URL in a web browser to initiate the enrollment quiz or interview. When the user attempts to enroll, they are initially prompted by a Windows security dialog to enter their Windows credentials. This is part of the ESSO password reset configuration known as digest authentication. This is a protective measure to validate that the user attempting to enroll is properly identified and allowed to participate in the enrollment quiz. The user is then presented with the enrollment page to begin the enrollment interview. As you can see, if the user incorrectly types their password, then the digest authentication will fail and the user will be prompted to enter it again. They will continue to be prompted to enter this password till they either enter the correct one or they cancel out of it, at which time they will not be allowed to complete the enrollment quiz. Once the user is presented with the enrollment page to begin the enrollment interview, the user can then enter their username or click Start. During this phase, the users are creating their enrollment responses to the predefined challenge questions. The responses are then saved and used to verify the user during the password reset quiz. It must be completed before the password can be reset. Once all of the questions have been completed successfully, the user will click Finish to complete the enrollment. I'll demonstrate now. And as you can see, this user has successfully enrolled with the ESSO password reset service. The second method of enrolling users is through the use of automatic or forced enrollment. When automatic/forced enrollment is enabled, the users will be prompted to complete the enrollment quiz when logging onto their desktop. Here in this scenario, the user has already logged on and is presented immediately with the enrollment page in a restricted, secure browser page. The steps to complete the enrollment are the same as those shown in the manual self-enrollment directly from the web browser on the desktop. I'll perform that now for demo user 2. Demo user 2 is now logged onto the desktop and enrolled in the self-service password reset. Once the users have been successfully completed the enrollment phase, they can reset their passwords directly from the password reset URL in a web browser or via the Forgot Your Password link on the credential provider on the Windows logon screen. I'll demonstrate now how to do this from the credential provider link on the Windows logon screen for demo user 1. We begin by clicking the Forgot Your Password link on the Windows logon screen. The user is then presented with the password reset page to begin the password reset quiz. They enter their credentials, and then the user will answer the predefined questions with the same responses provided during the enrollment phase. After completing the questions, the user can then enter a new password and then confirm it. The password must meet the complexity requirements defined within the local or domain security policies for the Windows systems. Click on the Submit button to complete the password reset. The user is presented with a confirmation that the password was changed successfully. As I mentioned, the password must meet the complexity requirements defined within the local or domain security policies for the Windows system. Here, the recent password that I just entered did not meet those requirements. We'll try again. As you can see, we have a session invalid error. That is because we waited too long to change our password, so the session timed out. Simply restart the session, go through the quiz again, and you can enter the new password. Click Submit. This time the password is successfully reset, and the user now has changed their password for their Windows account. The user can now log into the desktop with their new password. Users can also initiate a password reset from the Windows browser directly from their password reset URL in the web browser for their desktop. This method is used when the user is already logged on to the Windows desktop but wants to reset their password proactively, possibly before an expiration. As you can see, the user is presented with the password reset quiz. They'll answer the questions with their predefined responses, enter the new password, then enter it again to confirm it and click Submit. The user should be then presented with a confirmation message that the password was changed successfully. They can use the new password at the next Windows login. As we can see, it is very important that the passwords match, or else we won't be able to submit them until they do match. It should also be noted that the invalid session error came up again if the user takes too long to enter their new password or too many times. The session will expire and they can restart it to try again. Once the password successfully matched, we click submit. And as you can see, we can finally successfully reset the user's password, making sure everything, the passwords match, and we re-enter the new password within the session timeout period. The password now is reset for demo user 2, and the user can then log on to the desktop with the new password at their next Windows logon. The last part of the ESSO password reset service account product that I would like to demonstrate is how users can use it to unlock a locked account. In this case, you see my demo user 3 has currently locked his account out and can't log on. So we'll begin by clicking OK. We'll click the Forgot Your Password link. Enter our username. Answer our questions that we've already enrolled for. And you can see here we have an option to unlock our account. Click next. The account has been successfully unlocked. The user can now log in with their existing password. They can also initiate the password reset quiz again and opt to reset the password if they don't know it. This completes the demonstration of the user password reset service enrollments and password resets. To summarize what we've discussed and covered in this session today, the ESSO password self-service reset provides a fully integrated self-service solution that allows end users to reset their Windows passwords or unlock their Windows account, which significantly reduces the number of calls to the help desk for password resets. It significantly improves the user experience by offering strong password management, of the Microsoft Windows user accounts through a secure and flexible self-service interface. Here are some of the product documentation and resources available for the ESSO product suite, which includes the password reset and any other products within that suite that you might be interested in. Thank you again for tuning into today's Oracle Identity and Access Management Insight session. We look forward to seeing you at the next one.